Welcome back to the Today with Tally podcast. Folks, we have a great show in store for you today. We sit down with the owner of Patriot Home Construction, folks. That's right, here in Houston, Texas, in the greater Houston metropolitan area. And we're going to talk entrepreneurship. You know, everybody wants to make themselves better in life. And, you know, so many folks out there are very distraught and not happy with their day-to-day jobs, punching the clock. Well, today we're going to talk to an entrepreneur who did just that. He was tired of punching the clock. He wanted more out of life. And so instead of him sitting back and complaining and whining about trying to make himself better, he just did it. Jumped headfirst into a business that has become very successful in a short period of time. And with that, we are honored to be joined by Cody Dawson. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
Just glad to see your face.
You as well.
Yeah.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Hey, you look good, dude. So, look, Patriot Home Construction, you were a roughneck right out there at sea doing oil work?
Yeah, I was one of the spoiled ones, but in the beginning, yep, I was at the bottom of the totem pole.
And 2020 hits, right? And you basically are out of a job?
No, I was one of the fortunate people. A lot of people around me got let go, but I was one of the fortunate people that got to hang around. But during that time, work definitely slowed down. We'd go offshore a few times a year. Sometimes it'd be weeks. Sometimes it'd be, a little over a month. But yeah, I was fortunate enough to still keep my job during all of that.
So what inspired you to start Patriot Home Construction?
Man, there's a lot of things. After so many years in oil and gas, it was probably 12, 13, 14 years of that was no schedule. So I was on call pretty much all the time. Back in the frac days, we did stay on a schedule, but pretty much right after that, it was like an on-call schedule. So when they needed you on site, you left and you were there and you showed up before they needed you. And then once everything was done and installed or completed, a day or two after that, you were out of there. Pending any delays with the project in general, you pretty much had to wait those out. So you never really knew how long you were going to be gone for. So that wears on you a lot, especially, we have 3 daughters and that wears on you as they get older too. My 2 oldest girls, that's all they ever knew was I'd be gone. And then weeks later I'd come back, and that was my biggest driving factor for wanting to find something different and do something different.
What does that do to a family? For an example, you're gone, you've got your wife raising your daughters at home. You're on the road, you're doing everything that you can to provide in an honorable way to your family. And did you ever, one day sit back and realize, man, I'm never home. I'm always on the road. I'm not watching my daughters grow up, and I'm basically just watching them through the lenses of my camera phone.
Yeah, there was a lot of FaceTimes, a lot of videos, photos sent back and forth. Something like that. It's not just a conversation you all of a sudden have. It was a conversation that we had for years and years and years. And it's scary to take that leap, right? I was making good money and it afforded us the opportunity to have my wife stay home. But after a while, she only wants to do that for so long and she wants to get back into the workforce. So there's a lot of factors that played into those conversations of, wanting to leave that industry, get something that was, more of a stable schedule, but we could still make the type of money that I was making in oil and gas. And so yeah, I mean, it's a conversation that happens over years.
Hmm. And one day you took the leap, and it wasn't long ago.
Yeah, it was little over 3 short years ago. Going back to what you're talking about, COVID in 2020, that was a time, and I've told this story a lot. How for some people it destroyed their careers, some people it destroyed their families and their businesses. But for me, it was more of a blessing because that's when I was working offshore, and it afforded me a lot of time at home. Um, and I got to be a part of my family in a way that I hadn't got to before. I got to go to a lot more events for my daughters. I got to be with my wife more. We got to plan things that were around our own schedule because I was, only designated for certain projects. And so we knew most of the time in advance when I would need to be away. So it gave us a lot more time as a family. And that really just kind of got the gears turning of, okay, I don't even know if I could go back with having all of this time with my family, that I didn't want to give it up. And so that's kind of what started me working as like a handyman, doing projects on our house. And then slowly but surely it turned into us doing projects for friends and neighbors. And then the projects just kind of kept growing and growing. And it was really quick. It all happened very fast. And we kind of hit a point between what I was doing on the side as like a side gig, really, just to fill time, because I have trouble sitting still and not doing things. So once I kind of got done doing everything at our house that we could either afford to do, or, projects that may have been too big for me to do on my own, started reaching out to other trades, and projects got big enough that, when it came time to go offshore, we really had to make a decision on what path were we going to take. Do what I've been doing before and going offshore, working in oil and gas, or do we take this uncharted path?
And the rest is history.
Yeah, it really is. No regrets.
Who did you make this decision by yourself, Cody, or was this with your daughters and your wife all together sitting around that table making this decision?
I mean, it was really a decision that was made with, between my wife and myself. Our daughters are just always that factor that are involved. They're always a really big part of our reasoning for wanting to do something like this. But the decision was 100%, between my wife and myself. And, we're very much planners, and we do as much as we possibly can to look ahead. We'll write it out on paper. We'll go over finances. We'll figure out, okay, if we do this, we've got to hit these marks to make it happen. And with what I was currently doing with it as kind of like a side gig, if we could do just a little bit more, it would make sense. And we thought that was attainable. And so that's when we made a decision to let my previous employer know that I would no longer be returning. And we took that leap. And it was scary. It was a really hard decision. I mean, there were some sleepless nights. There was a lot of conversations about it, a lot of doubts, but ultimately, we made the right choice. And
now,
happy about it.
When you closed your eyes and you took this leap of faith and you envisioned what Patriot Home Construction would be, has that been what your vision was, or is it greater than what your vision could have seen?
Well, in the beginning, it was Patriot Home Services because it was strictly like a handyman thing. And it was me solo, just doing the work, carrying my tools and bags around and getting things done for people. And I think it was within like 1 year that we really felt like the projects were getting larger, and I was bringing in multiple trades. Um, and we kind of realized that the services in the name was bringing in the type of work that we had just outgrown really fast. So that's when we decided to change the name to construction. Um, but when I first started as a handyman business, yeah, ultimately the goal was to grow it from that, get into larger full scale renovations. And then, we had dreams of, building custom homes, which is still our goal today. But it's happened fast, and as we kind of grow and evolve with it, it's been amazing. Within like a year and a half, I needed more help with the business side of things and kind of just maintaining the growth. And that's when Kristen and we also kind of had the goal of ultimately we wanted her to be able to leave her job. And yeah, within like a year and a half, that happened. And so that was also like a scary leap was, okay, if you leave your job, we have to replace your income. And now we have to hit these marks. Do we think it's possible? And with her being able to put all of her focus on the business, we thought, yes, that's definitely attainable. And it has been. And she's done amazing. She's helped grow the business to heights that I certainly wouldn't have been able to do on my own. And it's afforded me more time to be able to focus on these projects and help build like our project managers, and make sure that these jobs are getting done to the quality that we expect.
How do you balance your work and your life, having now working directly one-on-one with your wife in this, really, it's become a family business. And you, for years, never saw your wife, and now you're working together. What's that experience been like?
It's honestly been great because there's nobody I trust more than her. And I know that she has the same goals, for our family and for the business that I do. And so I know that everything she's doing for the business, whether I'm involved or not, whether I even know what she's doing, because she kind of has her half and I have my half, I know that she's doing the right thing. And I know that her intentions are always good for the business and for us. As far as like our business relationship, I mean, it's been great. We are, sometimes you get really absorbed in the business, and it really depends on what we have going on with our projects and, how big the projects are, how many projects we have going on simultaneously. But we live and die from our calendar on our phone. Everything is on there. We have our personal stuff on there. We have our business stuff on there. It's all separated out into different calendars, but we definitely make an effort of like our early mornings. We enjoy being out on the patio. We have coffee, we talk, we try to avoid any work talk whatsoever. And sometimes it's as easy or as hard as in the evenings at a certain time, like we turn off our work phones, we turn off the computers, and we don't mess with any of it until the next day, to try to just turn off your work brain, and keep your personal brain and family life in focus. It's really easy to blur the two. And in the beginning, that was hard, especially at times of growth. It can be really hard too, because it's all you're thinking about, and you don't want to mess up. But, like clients and some of our subcontractors and our employees, like they understand that and they respect that too.
So many people will look at an entrepreneur and say, oh, they got a silver spoon in their mouth. They're given that, or they're given that. And, it's, oh yeah, he's just lucky. He's just lucky, and a lot of folks don't understand the hard work, the dedication, the commitment, the hours, the blood, sweat, tears, the relationships. I mean, that's a lot for a man to take in, especially an alpha male who is wired in a way that I will not fail. I will do whatever it takes to make this company successful. Now, look, you've only been at it for 3 years, and I've watched you grow, and it's been truly remarkable, and it's inspiring. For folks out there right now that are listening to this program, they're like, you know what? I want to be a Cody. Why can't I start my own business? Like, what sort of business, advice could you offer right now?
I mean, you have to be willing to fail, and you have to be willing to not give up every time you fail. Sometimes you're not going to hit the mark, but you have to be able to fix whatever you fail, whether it's falling short with a client or underestimating a project. Like we always offer a white glove service to our clients, and sometimes that means that we're not going to come to clients and nickel and dime things. So you have to be willing to, well, you just have to understand that sometimes you are going to lose, but you have to be able to learn from that. I'm fortunate because I have a Kristen, and that has helped me tremendously. Days when I have high anxiety or my stress level is through the roof, she's kind of like my stable rock. And, same thing for her. She deals with a lot on her side. And, sometimes I have better days than she does, and vice versa. So we're always there for each other to be able to like bounce our feelings and emotions off of each other. But, not everything is going to go according to plan. You have to be willing to evolve. We have implemented so many like technological changes in our business that has helped us, but with that comes a lot of learning. You got to be willing to be able to learn and evolve. And, if you want to grow, you're never going to be able to grow past what you're currently doing if you're not bringing in like new processes and newer technologies and, new CRMs and ways of being able to communicate between your subcontractors, your clients, and where everything is transparent for everybody. All of that takes time. It takes money. And it takes a lot of trial and error.
Mm-hmm. How do you handle the stressors? I mean, and look, we all have stress in life, but when you're a business owner, it's a lot different, because you're the guy calling the shots, and you have a lot of people that are relying on you and depending on you to get the job done. Because when you're on a job, the customer says, "No, I'm first." You know what I mean? Like when you're on a job, it's like 100%. That customer is going to expect everything that you sold them when you went out there to initially meet them and to give them an estimate. Now, I know you're going to go through growing pains, and you're going to have those high anxiety type moments. How do you manage that, your stress and your anxiety?
Well, so like when you say that the customer like expects that they're first, I mean, they're not wrong.
Yeah.
And that's on you, how as a business owner, how you manage that. That's why, we don't take on, 8, 9, 10 projects simultaneously, because, you can't have that many number ones on your list, unless you put the right people in place that also understand that, those clients do come first. We are there for them. The only reason we're even working on these projects is because of those clients. So we always do want our clients to feel like they are number one. When it comes to like dealing with high stress and like the anxiety that you get from it, you got to have outlets, and whether that's talking to somebody like you about, your past businesses and things that you dealt with and how you handled those things, putting yourself in the right circles of like-minded people to be able to kind of bounce those ideas off of and those stressors off of, knowing that you're not alone and what you're experiencing isn't, something out of this world. It comes with the territory. And sometimes like the high stress and the high anxiety and living in that world of chaos, sometimes at a certain point, the chaos becomes the normal, and you learn how to handle that in a better way than, I would have maybe a year and a half ago, when, sometimes you feel like, okay, this isn't for me and I want to give up now. Comes with time. comes with time. Your skin toughens up a little bit, your feelings toughen up a little bit, and you also learn how to delegate better. Certain things with certain trades, that maybe in the beginning you would have overlooked and been, oh, I'll touch that up whenever they're done, instead of saying something in the moment. Setting expectations right from the beginning with everybody that you work with is the best way to mitigate, things that are going to affect you later on down the road. Not being afraid to speak up, setting the bar high. But yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say really like the chaos at a certain point kind of becomes the new normal.
Lead, manage, and delegate. That right there, if you can master those three, you will have mastered your business in anything that you decide to do in life as an entrepreneur, because those are three, core values right there, man. You get those done. And then organized chaos. That's a great way to put it. Organized chaos. You're running from job to job. You're speaking with, a bunch of different customers. Of course, every customer you have to treat different because everybody has different personalities.
Yeah.
Customer A, you need to talk to this way, and customer B, you can talk to this way. And so, as an entrepreneur, you're always, putting on different hats. It's not that you're out there, not being yourself, but some people are going to require different levels of service, and that's something that you need to understand as well as being a successful entrepreneur, is that, hey, this isn't just about me. This is about making my customers happy and me delivering an overall great experience. And the way I'm going to do that is I need to be a great salesman. And I need to basically under promise, right, and over deliver to make those customers happy with you, to get reviews. Look, we don't have a phone book anymore. Our directory is Facebook and social media and all those other outlets. And so it's never been an easier time to get on and slander people and slander businesses that are doing a poor job. And so I can understand that, we live in a day and age right now to like, man, it's always in the back of your head. I have got to do such a great job so nobody puts me on blast, and sometimes you can't please everybody. And what their level of perception is, it may be different than yours. And, have you ever had any instances like that where you're like, man, I just can't please them?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't happen often. For the most part, if things get missed or we don't hit the mark, we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that client gets what they expected from us. And whether that means bringing in a different tradescraft or a tradesman to finish the job, or eating the cost to redo something or get something rebuilt the way they expected it to be. It also comes down to, and this is just something that's kind of always evolving for me, when we put our proposals out there, the verbiage that is in our proposals gets, more and more fine-tuned the longer we do this. Whereas, back in the beginning, I would maybe have a proposal for like a full bathroom that would be like a 1-page proposal, whereas now it's probably like a 4 or 5-page proposal that really dives into a lot of details. So, and that also comes from my trades that I work with regularly. I know what to expect from them. They know what to expect from me. And so everything that I know they're going to do and that we've discussed they're going to do, all of that verbiage is in my proposals. So we try and get it down to the fine details as possible, so there's nothing left unsaid. And in the future, if there is anything left unsaid, I update it on my end so it doesn't happen again. So that's kind of the part of, the verbiage is always evolving, always updating. And in your proposals, you can really not have too much information, especially when you get with certain clients that are really going to hold you to, word for word what you put in there.
Right.
And then that also comes down to me, is that I hold my subs accountable for, word for word what they tell me or what they put in their contracts with me and vice versa.
Let me tell you about Patriot Homes right here in the greater Houston metropolitan area, folks. These guys are out doing the hard work. And it's kind of hard to please people in today's world, but let me tell you, Cody Dawson and his family business stand behind everything they do.
Custom kitchens, bathrooms, master bathrooms, whole home renovations, outdoor patios, home additions, outdoor kitchens.
They are your one-stop shop for everything that you want to do in your home. It's always nice to know that you got somebody that can come in and give you a great price. Not only give you a great price, but be on time, on budget, reliable. All you got to do is just go to patriothomestx.com. That's patriothomestx.com. They're building your vision with pride and precision. Right. Yeah. Contracts are so important in today. Look, you have got to protect yourself from these predatory type customers. You know, like they say, well, the customer's always right. I say wrong. Just because they hire you doesn't put them completely in the driver's seat of who's wrong and who's right in morals and ethics and values. You can go in there and be the best contractor that you can be and do a great job and deliver everything that you promised. And then these folks be completely contract, oh, well, there's a screw missing here, or, oh, you didn't paint this little section here, or you got a little chip here, or you didn't clean this little section up over here. And this is like, these people are just looking for problems. And I call them predators. They're predatory customers who are preying on businesses, on a lot of small businesses. And it's like, for what, right? You're just trying to destroy, somebody's reputation or destroy somebody's livelihood because you're just an unhappy predator, and so living in today's day and age, and I know when I had my company, I started mine in 2002 and I went all the way to 2016, mine. And a lot of the times, like when we had add-ons and stuff, it was like, hey, that'll be an extra $2,000. And I would just write it down, in my book, in my field book, and we did a handshake on it. Like, I don't think that you could really do that too much more today. I mean, have you ever had those types of instances?
Very, very rarely. It really depends on what it is, but anytime we have add-ons or change orders, we always do change order contracts. That just keeps everybody in the know. It makes sure that, if I tell my subs that, hey, we're going to be doing this now, let me know what the cost is. I send the change order over to the client. Sometimes it's a change order that involves multiple trades. So I got to compile, a full list of everything that needs to be done. But no, there's never really any handshake agreements on that. We want to make sure that everybody's held accountable, and the clients appreciate that. It shows that we're organized in what we do, and then it also guarantees that what we had them sign for this change order is going to get done just as if it was a part of the original contract. But yeah, every project has change orders inevitably. So that's pretty common. There's always change orders to be done.
Cody, what do you specialize in?
So we specialize in custom home remodels. We do a lot of work on homes that are 5,000 square feet plus. We do custom kitchens, bathrooms, master bathrooms, whole home renovations. And we're definitely working our way into the custom home remodeling world, or the custom home rebuilding and new construction. We also do like outdoor patios, home additions, outdoor kitchens. So there's a lot that we do. We work with engineers, architects. We have a handful of designers that we work with. It'd be pretty rare that we do projects without designers. A lot of the projects that we do involve a lot of decision making when it comes to finished materials, layouts, framework, electrical. So we always try to implement having a designer on every single project that we do. It really helps on the service side and the quality side, and everything that the client is going to expect for the end result.
You know, one thing that was special in my business is I would take pictures of everything before, during, and after. And I would get a couple years into it and I would look back and I'm like, wow, the growth here is insane. Like I could see my growth from when I started to 3 years and at the 6 year mark and at the 9 year mark. And then one day I sat back on this beautiful landscape I did. I said, dude, I did it. Like I did it. I did what people told me that I couldn't do. Like the day I started my business, my mom said, you're crazy. You can't do that. You have a baby. You have 2 babies and you just started your own business, a landscape company. And I proved everybody wrong. And I was successful. Have you ever had that moment yet in your young 3 years of being an entrepreneur where you sat back and said, I did it. I did
it. I don't think I've done it yet. You know, we still have a long ways to go. But where we're at from 3 years ago to where we are at now, I don't think I could have imagined that we're doing what we're doing now. And as successfully as we're doing it, we've built a really good brand. We've surrounded ourselves with really great people. We're fortunate. We're very fortunate to be where we are, that we've had the support of like everybody around us. Everybody that works with us supports us. They help in our growth. But yeah, I mean, sometimes, you know, Chris and I will kind of like look back at old photos of what I was doing 2.5 years ago and just be like, wow, like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's the growth. Growth is amazing, especially when you go back and you actually like dig into it a little bit and say, wow, we were doing things like this when we first started and look at where we're at now. And to think that right now you're doing everything like perfect. In another 2 or 3 years, you're going to say, oh my God, like I've grown even more, you know. It's like one day, you know, you're going to have this, you know, building, this commercial building, and you're going to have, you know, all these employees, and you're going to have, you know, you're going to have stocks, you know, you're going to have back stocks of like materials. You may even have your own, you know, design showroom one day. And then all of a sudden it's going to be like, man, this guy's been at this for 25 years. It's become a family business. You're going to be living a, you know, you're going to have a legacy behind what you started, all because you said, you know, I got an idea. I think I can do it better. I think I could do it better than these.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
You just got to be able to handle the growth. I mean, and that's the biggest thing for us is understanding how to handle the growth and make sure we're doing it in a way. You know, we always want to walk before we run. You know, we could be doing so many things right now, but we don't want to get too big for our britches and, you know, lack quality in certain areas of what we're doing. We want to make sure that, you know, we're proficient or exceed expectations on what we're currently doing. You know, and with each project that is bigger than the last one is an opportunity for us to do that. And as we get into like these larger projects, that's what's preparing us to get to the next step in the next phase of our growth. So we're handling it in the way that we see fit.
Well, you are very good at what you do. You're very outgoing, and I can understand why you are doing such a great job in this new construction world that you're in. You know, that you found yourself in for now 3 years. You're calling the shots, and you're hard to hate. I mean, you're so easy to want to get behind. I mean, you make it so easy to want to support you. And you know, look, we got listeners from all over the country that might want to see your work. Where can we send them on social media?
So on Facebook, we are at Patriot Home Services TX. And then on Instagram, we're at Patriot Homes TX. And our website is www.patriothomestx.com.
Awesome. Yeah. You know, I got a lot of people out there that are like, you know what, I live in Ohio. I would love to have a Cody Dawson, but if I can't get him, maybe I can look at some of his pictures online. You know, I mean, you've done some remarkable work and you know, you put out a lot of good content out there. And I think it could be, very valuable to a lot of folks out there that are, you know, going through a remodeling process and even just want to get some great ideas. Folks, if you're in the Houston area, if you're in the greater Houston area, you need to get a hold of Cody Dawson and go to his website, go to his Facebook, and his Instagram. Why don't you go ahead and repeat those three things one more time, Cody?
So Facebook is Patriot Home Services TX. Instagram is Patriot Homes TX. And our website is www.patriothomestx.com.
PatriotHomesTX.com. Man, look at that. He's like a radio guy.
Texas, baby.
Isn't that a daisy? Hey, listen, thank you. I know you're a busy guy, man. You're doing it from the truck. I love it, man. But you know, I can guarantee you that there's somebody that's listening today that say, you know what, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. You know what? That was encouraging. That was inspiring. If he can do it, I can do it. It just takes that leap of faith and go out there and just get it done. One step at a time, just chopping wood. You know, just keep walking. Just keep walking. You don't got to run. Just keep walking.
You can do it.
Just get that 1% better every single day. We wish you and your family nothing but the best here moving forward with your business. And thanks for taking a few minutes with us today.
You as well, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, there you have it, guys. You're like, well, how do you know Cody? Well, I'm the crazy neighborhood walker. That's why I keep up with my health, right? I got to walk. I do my intermittent fasting. And one day I came across Cody back when he was working oil and gas, and somebody was out working on his house. And it wasn't Cody in his business. This is way before he started his business. And I would see him out there all the time, looking at the roof lines, looking at the patio, looking at this and that, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, you know, I think I could do it better. I think I could do it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start my own company. And dude, he was doing a lot of stuff around the house. And all of a sudden he gets this small patio built, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to take the leap of faith and I'm going to start it. Well, I am also a customer. He turned me into a customer when we wanted to turn our small little pantry, which was like the size of this water bottle, turned sideways. I mean, literally, you can put like 3 cereal boxes in there, maybe a couple of canned goods, and that was my pantry. Well, I got a problem with that because I have kids that like to eat, and we like to keep a nice little backstock of food. So we had an idea. We're going to 86 this small pantry, and we're going to build a larger one. So that required us taking that out, knocking down a wall, adding electrical, you know, and everything else that comes with the game, putting in a coffee bar and this and that. So we called Cody over. And he was like, you need to do A, B, C, and D. And we're going to do it in this order with these phases. And it's going to be this much. And this is what you can expect of me. And he lived up to it. Phenomenal job. And as a matter of fact, I'm even going to post the pictures. You're just, you know, you're just trying to make it look better. No, folks. This is real life here. This is the pantry I had, and this is the idea that Cody had, because me and my wife, we thought we had a great idea. And I'm not a home builder, and I'm not a remodeler or anything like that. And he came right in and says, no, look, great idea, great concept, but we need to do it like this. Because if we do it like this, it's going to work better for you. Trust me. If you do it the way you want to do it, you're not going to get the most value out of the project. But if you do it the way that I'm proposing, you're going to be 100 times happier. And we could even throw in a coffee bar over here. We can make more shelves here. We can make it larger if we do a little duct cut in here, put in the lights here, and I let him design it. And I let him just run with it. And he did. He was reliable. He was on time, and he was on budget. He hit all 3 of those very important factors when you are trying to find a contractor, and trying to find a contractor that's going to follow through with the work and do what they are going to say when they're going to do it and actually stand behind it. It's very rare that you hire somebody these days and you can have a really good relationship with them afterwards. But when I first met Cody, he was just somebody I waved to on walks, and then I hired him. And now he's my good friend. And when you could turn a customer into a friend, that right there speaks volumes of not only your character and your workmanship, but who you are when that light switch goes out for the night. And you could sit back and you can wave to that neighbor that's walking in your backyard as you're facing the pond and say, I made him happy. But before I made him happy, you know, he was just like everybody else who would just walk by and wave. And now I walk by and we have a nice, cool pop on the patio, and we've even become family friends. Crawfish and, you know, and all these seafood boils and getting the kids together and all that other stuff. Even like when I was out of town, my wife had a freaking big old wasp and she couldn't get it. Well, she called Cody. He came to the rescue. I mean, it's relationships, folks. And this is why I highly recommend Cody Dawson. This guy's doing great work, and he will be around when you need him. And like I said, man, I wish him nothing but the best. There's a lot of guys out there who are trying to do it the right way, but don't seem to have the right formula, don't seem to have the right blueprint. Well, Cody has got both of those. He's got the formula, he's got the blueprint, and he's got the experience now moving forward in this new endeavor, Patriot Home Construction, Patriot Home Services. But like I said, he's got a wide variety of everything that you can choose from, and I guarantee he will make you happy. And if he doesn't, he will figure out a way to ensure that you leave happy. I mean, that's his goal. Even if if you're a person that is hard to please, he will do everything in his power to want to please you, because being an entrepreneur, the last thing that we ever want is an unhappy customer. So folks, with that, don't forget to follow us. We are on Facebook, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. We are on X. We're trying to put our podcast everywhere to make this as accessible as possible for you. And folks, learn more about me and my personal story. You can even get all of the podcasts over on briantalley.com. That's briantalley.com. Folks, remember to stay inspired, stay encouraged, stay motivated, and always stay in the fight. Until next time for the Today with Tally podcast, this is Brian Talley. Good night. Semper Fi. God bless.